Hi and welcome to Terry Talks Movies. This time around I'm doing something a little bit different, which usually means I get fewer views, but I'm going to do it anyway because I think that this bunch of movies is something that you're going to want to see. What I'm calling this is Outliers, movies that are so obscure that you don't even have barcodes on the boxes for them. One of them's from 20 years ago, another one is a box set that came out a couple of years ago, and the third one is from 2010 and is probably the first movie I've talked about from Africa. Let's start out with two movies and a making of disc made by a YouTuber. So before you tune out, this one is kind of fun. Stuart Ashen has a YouTube channel that's been going for a long time now, where he basically shows weird, obscure stuff, and particularly weird, obscure technology and electric stuff on a brown couch. Now, Stuart Ashen also made two movies. He's an expert on early PC gaming. In fact, he's given talks about early PC gaming and early computer consoles and early electronic gaming in general, and particularly the games. In 2013, Ashens as he's called, because it's Ashen S, Stuart Ashen, Ashen S. He made a movie in 2013, which was a Kickstarter, about the search for an obscure handheld game console, which is related to the fall of Soviet Russia in the really messed up plot of the movie. It's called Ashens and the Quest for the Game Child, which is the name of the game console.
There's something you don't know about me. Something very few people know.
Get in the back of the car!
I'm a collector. I collect very rare but absolutely worthless collectibles.
Cool.
It was made by Stuart Ashen and a bunch of his friends. It was directed by one of the actors at Hire BMWFilms, and it's a kind of screwball comedy in a way. It's very much got a little bit of the vibe of an old school Ealing comedy in some ways. It's very modern in others. It's got a lot of references in it, but I found it a lot of fun. And Ashens gets a whole bunch of fairly well-known faces in it. You've got Robert Llewellyn, who was in the TV series Red Dwarf, playing a mad professor. You also get Warwick Davis, who is in the new Willow series and has done any number of things, including the original Willow, come to think of it. And a bunch of Ashens YouTuber friends turn up as well. A bunch of other actors. It's set in Norwich, where he lives. And I kind of like it. There are there's behind the scenes, through the lens, there's a Robert Llewellyn interview, a commercial for Game Child, a Warwick Davis promo, there are auditions, outtakes, character trailers, deleted scenes, and a proper trailer for this one. So it's a proper film, made as a labour of love. There's the back cover. Now, as I said, it does have a PG rating, but the discs itself don't have barcodes because you couldn't buy them commercially anywhere. You can actually watch the movie and pay for it on Vimeo as a streaming platform. There were some problems keeping the rights to certain things after the making of the film. I don't quite know the details of those, but it's an over-the-top comedy. It's silly, it's fun. And if you're into computer gaming at all, it's even more fun. Then in 2020, Ashens made a heist movie called Ashens and the Polybius Heist.
There is a video game that doesn't exist.
Have you ever heard of the Polybius?
It's an urban legend, a myth.
The infamous arcade game that can control people's minds.
But the legend is real.
The most addictive game ever.
And it's in Norwich.
Now, Polybius is a real-world game cabinet, which was supposedly created in the 1980s and supposedly had the ability to control people's minds. It's one of those great big conspiracy theories like Christianity and UFOs and Bigfoot. This one has higher production values than the first one, and Stuart Ashen character, which is a version of himself, of course. It is a lot of fun, though. I think he does kind of underplay certain things in a way that maybe a more experienced actor wouldn't. Though I think it may be problematic to tell someone they're playing themselves that they're not doing it right. But I think that a couple of the jokes he has are kind of understated and underplayed when they could have been given a little more punch. But again, this is something made on a crazy low budget. You know, you don't always get the opportunity to do multiple takes of things, though there are outtakes of this. So the Polybius heist is fun. The heist itself is a lot of fun. The villains are over the top and silly in the way that they should be in this kind of film. Then there's also Ashens and the Fly on the Wall, which is a documentary about the making of the second movie. And it's got a whole bunch of extras on it as well. Now, it came in a collector's edition. I happened to see this on Twitter and picked it up. I think it was like 20 or 30 quid UK. And it's in a box set there, and there. But there's absolutely no barcode on it. So when I put it into my collector's software, I had to type in the names of the movies for it. But I like this. It actually works as films. They're fun, they're silly, they were made for a specific audience, which is pretty much the subscribers for Ashens' channel, but it worked for me. I watch his channel, I watch the silly things he buys in Poundland and other £1 shops. He had a thing for a while where he was finding 50-year-old cans of drink and drinking them. In a way, movies like this, like these two, are artifacts of our time where people get a platform on YouTube and decide that they want to make a movie. And why the hell not? It harms nobody. It gives people experience in the industry. It's done for fun and for the love of it, and it entertains an audience. So I'm fond of this kind of filmmaking. I don't think it's going to necessarily change the world, but it shows how the technology of producing a film, or even producing a video like this, has become incredibly democratized and incredibly accessible to people in our current century, and I love that. And I wanted to support Ashens and his mad thing to make 2 movies. And by the way, on this edition I got autographs as well. So there's only one of 2 movies I've got that's autographed. This is autographed by the filmmakers, including Stuart Ashen. Like I said, you can't buy this anymore unless you get it on eBay, maybe if you're lucky. But you can watch the movies on Vimeo, which is a streaming platform which is a little more kludgy and old school than YouTube is. And if you're interested, I'll put a link directing you to where you can watch these films, because they're fun. Second up is the African movie. You can see this on Tubi.tv, and I recommend that you do. But I also recommend that you buy the movie, because it'll cost you about $20 US. You can actually get a couple of the other films that are made by this company for just the same. And I've just repurchased it on Blu-ray. And also I'm getting an autographed poster of the film for like $10 US. Exchange rates are an unusual thing on the African continent. And this is made by the biggest and best movie studio in Uganda, Ramon Films, in Wakaliwood. And it is Who Killed Captain Alex. And as you can see, autographed again. This film was made for $200 US. Now, the brains behind this film and Wakaliwood itself is a guy called Isaac Nabwana, who lives in a what would probably be called slum outside the capital of Uganda, Kampala, a place called Wakaliwood, which is where they get the name Wakaliwood from. And he, with the people in his town, made this film. Now, the guns in the movie are pretty much made out of wood. The actors are all the local people. They filmed it on behind the houses and in the houses of people for a very low budget. And the whole thing was edited on a PC that Isaac had made himself. Well, it was one of the things he did for a living. He would find motherboards and then find computer parts around the place and piece together PCs. Now, the PC he was able to edit this film on in 2010 when it was released was so small he had to erase the original version of it so that he had enough room to edit his next movie. So there was only one existing print of this at one stage, which had a voiceover by a VJ. who kind of narrates the action as it's happening. And it's hilarious.
We found German tourists. We cooked them. You can't Bruce Lee. We call him Bruce You.
Take mafia. Second government. Muganda wange. Jagala muganda wange. Bala wasajja ngenda kubata bawaze second sabiri. My brother. Where are you? Mamma mia. Wow.
The computer effects on this are so basic but so heartfelt. It endears itself to you now, and it's based on sort of some historical political events in Uganda after Idi Amin. The Tiger Mafia ran Kampala with an iron fist. Finally on the run, Captain Alex and his team of Ugandan commandos hunt the Mafia through the bush on a deadly mission to destroy them once and for all. But when Alex is mysteriously murdered, tensions flare, chaos erupts, and Kampala is left in ruins. Now that's an ambitious thing for a movie to do. And as it says down at the bottom of the front, expect the unexpected. And the interesting thing is that Ramon Films and Isaac Nabwana have made a bunch of movies after this, and the quality keeps getting better and better. Some of the computer effects are still sketchy, but all of the people in this little village love kung fu movies. So there's a lot of kung fu action in this film. There's a lot of gunplay. There's a lot of really basic looking blood spray effects. There's a helicopter gunship, which is basically a green screen with a sketchy computer graphic. But it's endearing and it's wonderful, and it's made with such an honest passion for movies, particularly action films, that it's impossible not to love Who Killed Captain Alex. And I do. In fact, I'm getting the disc with the second movie, Bad Black, which is the second feature release that Ramon Productions has done. And there are other films. In fact, he's currently touring in Germany and across Europe, showing his movies at film festivals right now. I follow him on Twitter, and he's currently in Germany, then going on to Belgium and the Netherlands to promote Wakaliwood and promote Ramon Productions movies. And I love the fact that things are improving. There's still balls to the wall action films, but he's getting a lot more love. The technology he's using to film and to edit the movies and to do the post-production, particularly regarding the special effects, is getting better. And the other question is, who did kill Captain Alex? Now, I bought this directly from Ramon Productions, and the answer to that question is on the disc. They basically print them themselves, and I got a bunch of little artwork as well, and a bunch of stickers when I got this film. But the answer to Who Killed Captain Alex is on the disc. It says, Super Terry, you killed Captain Alex. So I killed Captain Alex. And I love this. I love the movies. I love what Isaac Nabwana and Ramon Productions is doing. I don't see them. I'm not looking at them in a condescending way. Just like Stuart Ashen and Ashens Movies. In his own way, Isaac Nabwana is making the kind of films about things that he's interested in and the kind of films he likes, with incredibly low resources, and yet he's made it. And if you haven't seen Who Killed Captain Alex, you're in for a lot of fun. It's honest action film. It's fun. It gives you an insight into Ugandan culture in some ways, and also the concerns of the people. It shows you the life in the village as well, and what a nightclub would look like and things like that. We tell each other's stories in this interconnected world of ours. And Isaac Nabwana is telling us his stories through Ramon Films and through things like Who Killed Captain Alex. And I like the fact that we can reach out across the planet and do that and tell each other stories. And even if the resources used are crazily limited, as long as there's passion, and as long as there's collaboration, as long as there's an audience, movies will be made. We need to keep telling each other stories, and I love the fact that we do. Pandemics can't stop it. Wars can't stop it. We tell each other stories, and that is probably the takeaway for this video. Now, speaking of telling each other stories, this next one is not only a movie. In fact, it's not a movie. It's a bunch of films. In fact, I've got 2, 4, 6, 8 films here that were made to advertise cars. They're 8 short films, and 8 short films by world-class film directors. They each run 10 to 15 minutes. And it's a little thing that BMW put together just after the turn of the century called The Hire, starring Clive Owen as the driver. This is the thing that inspired the Transporter series that was done with Jason Statham and that Luc Besson made. It was directly influenced by this. Now, dig this. These are the directors. There are actually more than 8 films there. I think there were 10 films made originally. So these are the people directing all of these different stories, which involve BMW sedans. And they're great action films. They're great storytelling, apart from anything else. Dig this. John Frankenheimer, Ang Lee, Wong Kar-wai, Guy Ritchie, Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu, John Woo, Joe Carnahan, Tony Scott, and Neil Blomkamp. They're the directors, and here are the actors you've got in these short films. Thomas Millian, who was in a lot of spaghetti westerns. Forrest Whitaker, Mickey Rourke, Madonna, Stellan Skarsgård, Don Cheadle, F. Murray Abraham, James Brown, Gary Oldman, Danny Trejo, John Bernthal, Dakota Fanning. These are good action films, and they're not long. They don't outstay their welcome. And BMW put them out. In fact, I bought this directly from BMWFilms.com back in the day. You can still find them on eBay if you look around. There's the inside thing of it. But these are good, solid, early 21st century action films in a short film format, each featuring some amazing car stunts using BMW, I think Z4s for the most part. Now, I'm not particularly a car guy. I drive one, and I tend not to hit things. For the most part, if you want to be a completist with any of these directors, or you want to see what they do when they're being playful and they don't necessarily have a year and a half to plan things, The Hire is something you've got to have in your collection. See, this one doesn't have barcoding either. I think I paid $8 US for it and a little bit for postage. It's really a kind of blending of advertising and pure action cinema. The Guy Ritchie one with Madonna is quite funny too, by the way. And the emotional range of these short films goes from balls-to-the-wall action to comedy to tragedy to good solid drama as well, all around Clive Owen's nameless character as a hired driver driving something or someone from A to B. It's a wide open format, and the short films do definitely work. So we've got Captain Alex, we've got an ad for BMW cars, and we've got a passion project from a YouTuber. So there are the Outlier films that I wanted to let you know about. If they're available in any way, I'll post links on the description of the video. By the way, you should check out the playlist as well that I've got, because I have genre playlists for the different genres of films I cover on this channel. The Hidden Gems one will have things like this in it. I've got one for science fiction. I've got some horror stuff. I've got a few other ones. I've got one for Asian cinema. So check those out as well, and you can just have a little bit of a binge on those and see how my videos have changed as I've learned not to do stupid things like totally mess up the sound. Anyway, that's it for this time around. Thank you very much for watching. Please do me a favor and like and subscribe and leave a comment. You can also support the channel at patreon.com/paleocinema and donate a few dollars a month to that. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing next, but I've got a bunch of movies that are on their way. And I've got some films that are nostalgic gems, let's say, and I'm not going to do any spoilers on that. What I also do is on the community tab of the channel, subscribers will get notified of the thumbnail for the next video I'm going to do before I put the videos up. So you can get a little bit of a taste of what's upcoming on the channel. As always, look after yourselves, stay safe. Watch some good movies, watch some bad movies. Definitely hit some Wakaliwood, and you're not going to be disappointed. And I'll catch you next time.